Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Truth Control. I'm Quinton.
And I'm Jessy.
And in this episode, we're going to be talking about near-death experiences, also known as NDEs.
And we want to go ahead and get started this time around, Quinton.
Yeah, so a near-death experience is basically where somebody basically experiences death for a brief moment of time, whether that's a day or hours or, varies in the amount of time, and then they actually come back to life after being clinically called dead. So that might happen from a number of reasons. Maybe they get hit in the head with something, or different things happen to them, and they will actually be clinically proven and called dead, where they're actually experiencing this other type of reality or experience, and then for some reason they come back to life to where they're no longer dead, and then they're able to go about their life again. And this is something that's been happening for a long time.
And most of the time, I believe in a near-death experience, when they come back, their life seems to, for some reason, whatever reason, improve a lot, because they're able to touch a part of their lives that maybe they had that they had not been able to resolve, and they see things much clearer, because for some reason the higher power, God, wherever they went to, gives them a better reasoning in life. And we're gonna pretty much discuss this. One of the most recent books that I've read on this, it's an amazing book by Anita Moorjani. It's called Dying to Be Me. And in this book she goes into detail. She was, her body was just, had given up on cancer. She got cancer, and she goes back, and well, in her experience, it's just very amazing, because she gets in contact with her father, which, the spirit that was her father in her past life, and they were from the Indian culture, and it's so great how she expresses herself, and her father wanting, in this lifetime, wanting her to marry into her culture and wanting to hold her down from so many other things in life. And at the end, when she meets up with her father again in spirit form, the father informs her that it was all just part of the physical form, that all that there really is in life is love. And that's one of the experiences that I really found. So it really helped me a lot to deal with a lot of my situations. It was just an eye-opening book. And there's so many out there for near-death experiences, but this one is just one. It's like a must-read book, because it's really very different. You read it as well.
I read the book as well, and yeah, it was a very good book, and it hit on a lot of important things that were eye-opening and nice to hear and good to see and understand, and they made sense too. Which is something that's interesting with NDEs, is they really do make sense of, especially I guess, the afterlife, because a lot of what we hear from religion and things like that, it kind of doesn't make sense, because you hear things like God is going to judge you, or
punish
there's hell, or these different things, or that we go to, or that there's we go to heaven or hell like eternally, and there's no this is just our only life. You hear all these things from religion that don't really make sense, and NDEs pretty much they don't throw it all away, but they clear all that up, because most of that is kind of crap. So. And
then it's weird, because a lot of NDEs has happened. They have happened to many people, atheists, Christians, and Anita Moorjani, she actually practiced different religions for the simple matter that she grew up. She was from the Indian culture, but she grew up in another culture, so she had all these different religious thrown upon her, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, and on that, I wanted to share a little bit of information here. There's a website out there called near-death.com, and it's one of the most popular near-death experience websites, where they share a bunch of near-death experiences from people who've had them, and you can read the stories. It has hundreds of them, and it has really good information. And what they did is they compiled a table showing what the most popular things, the most popular themes that happen during a near-death experience. Okay. And I wanted to share the number one theme that happened is 69% of people who had near-death experiences reported overwhelming love. Mm-hmm. So that's the most common theme of all the people. And this is coming from atheists, coming from Muslims, coming from Christians, agnostics, people, all different types of,
I guess it's not compounded down to religion at all.
No.
Because it happens to everyone, which is what I think is amazing. Because
And then a few other things that happened were after overwhelming love, 65% of people reported mental telepathy, mm-hmm. where they, where things happen, they communicated just, telepathically without words and just kind of knowing it instantly.
Yeah, it's crazy that you're saying that, because I was thinking of that in Anita Moorjani's near-death experience. She talks about how when she met up with her father, she just understood it was her knowing and what her father was actually interpreting to her and right. telling her, and he was like saying, there was everything that I wanted for you in the physical form was just that, but I want you to understand that it was me, and it was my control issues with the body right. that I was carrying, because all I have is nothing but pure love, and every situation is your journey, and it's amazing, because from you saying that, it shows that it really is like, it's coming from a pure love sense of form, I think.
And here's another interesting one. The third most common theme, which was 62% of people reported a life review. And this one's interesting because it's not judgment, it's a life review. It's not where some other person is telling you what you did wrong, or, that it's yourself reviewing yourself and what you accomplished in this life, or how you grew, and primarily where you withheld love, because that's kind of the main theme is where we're not loving people, because that's pretty much the main emphasis, or the main thing that's going on with an NDE is love. And it's like when we're here, we're gonna review ourselves to see where we withheld love, basically.
Yeah, and a lot of the times, like in the case again, referring back to Anita Moorjani, it was a self-love that she did not have for herself. She just didn't know how to love herself, because she thought that she always had to be doing what others were telling her to do. Like in the case, like her father wanted her to marry into the Indian culture, and just before she was about to get married, she just got rid of, she did not want to marry that person, just because she didn't feel anything. And the dad was so upset with her and everything, and she was always going through life trying to please everybody, not loving herself, because she thought, okay, I need to do what everybody else tells me, not loving myself. And she herself expresses how she knows that she herself brought the cancer upon herself for not really loving herself, which is,
Mm-hmm. And another interesting thing is something that in all those NDEs that they have on that website, not one person mentioned the devil, not one. So it goes to show that's really, it's kind of a man-made, concocted thing for control, basically, or it's a misrepresentation of polarity or that type of thing, because it's really not something that's existent in the spiritual world, at least the way that we view it.
And the thing about it is, this is our view on the devil. We were probably gonna get people against this and saying that it does exist. If you people are out there, I guess I'm just gonna put it out there.
But I would add, when you say devil, keep in mind, devil is different from Satan, which is different from Lucifer, and these are all different things.
Stories
you can't put them all into one and say devil is also Satan, because those are two different things. And Lucifer is different from Satan too. And serpent is different from Satan. So before you say there's no devil, or there is a devil or anything, make sure you know which words you're talking about, because they're all different things for different reasons. And all that, so it's not so straightforward as just putting them all into one entity, saying devil or Satan.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, I mean, like I said, I personally do not believe in the devil, and there's people out there that are going to be offended by this because their religion has put some control on them, telling them that that's what it is. I don't believe in it. I've never believed in it. Since when I met you, I told you I just don't believe in that, and I've never believed in it since I was little.
Yeah, I guess this kind of would be another topic, but I do believe obviously there's evil people, there's evil forces and things like that I guess manipulate us and stuff like that, or
And there is, I believe, I mean, there is, I do totally believe in that, but I guess just using the word evil next to it is what makes it evil to me. But I mean, there's evil energies, there's what they call ghosts. Again, that's going to be a totally different topic.
Yeah, sure.
But
so continuing on with the devil thing, I think it was 19% of people did mention hell or some type of thing like that, where not every NDE was in particular. There were some, I guess, negative elements to a few of them. And some of those, it's interesting, were atheists, where, okay, so basically with an NDE, from the main thing is you see basically what you're expecting to see, because it's pretty much a continuation of your higher self. I mean, you're here picking up information in this physical body, and what you're creating here is what you're creating in the non-physical. So when you're now detached from the physical, you continue on your current consciousness in this other reality, whatever that is. So,
and I mean, to me, it's a spiritual reality.
Yeah, me too,
things.
pretty much. So you're seeing then, if you believe in Jesus, you're going to see Jesus, which is what happens. Most Christians, they see some Jesus figure that has that type of energy for them. It's pretty much communicating to them as Jesus, the universe or whatever that is communicating to them that way. Muslims, they see Muhammad and they get information that way. And then atheists is interesting because obviously they don't believe in pretty much any of it, so they actually experience for a period of time nothingness, or it's kind of a confusion, or it's like they're not expecting there to be an afterlife or anything once they're out of the physical, so they're not really experiencing anything, but they still are there. Which I guess kind of in a way could tie into like ghosts maybe, or I think you have stuff to say on that.
Well, yeah, it's like, I think it's more like a bigger picture of your consciousness, your subconscious. And like, if you don't believe in anything and there's nothing there for you to believe, you're going to see the nothingness, which is the connection to everything. Nothingness I think leads to oneness. And that's a connection to everyone around you and everything that you're experiencing in this lifetime. As I mentioned to you before, when my brother passed away, that I was very depressed. I went into such a depressed mode that I thought, I mean, I really do believe Jesus is a messenger. And I felt like he was communicating with me. And at one point when I actually tried to kill myself, I kind of saw that, that Jesus messenger person come to me, and it was just kind of like a near-death experience, but not exactly. Sure. And but it's sort of like that, what you say. But with Anita Moorjani, what's so interesting is that she saw the people that had influenced her the most, which was her father. And what she relates in her near-death experience is that there's no time frame between spiritual world. It's like she was in the room and she still knew her body was there, but she was able to hear the doctors talking about her in the other room. Like, she was there and connected to everything around her, especially her father, which had already passed. She was connected to him in an instant, and she was connected to everything in an instant. And she doesn't mention really any religion. I think it was more a person that influenced her the most, which was her father, and how she goes into detail about how her body was able to heal, I mean, completely, because she realized she had the power, and the only thing she was missing was the love that she was never able to give herself. And the most important thing, what she says, it's not being selfish, it's not being mean, it's just that a lot of us don't know how to love ourselves. We think that we have to be under the control of our parents. Our parents say, "Oh, you shouldn't be this way." In her case, her marriage that never happened.
We basically, it's funny because everything kind of ties together, because it ties into why most people don't have their own business or don't do their own thing. Most people don't believe in themselves.
Exactly.
And they're not themselves. They're somebody else. And it's like we need to learn to see how cool we are. Yeah, I mean, you know, we all have our differences, but that's what makes us us, and that's. We're that way for a reason, and you know
we are powerful beings. We are so powerful, except that this body limits us. And when you read about near-death experiences like that, it kind of opens you. It's still hard to accept because I read that book. I go back to it, and it's like such an amazing book that inspires me. But at the same time, it's still difficult to follow that path.
Sure. And I will say this near-death website, because I originally came across it like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 years ago or so, and I was just kind of reading through it. And at that time, I was more so a hardcore Christian, just, only that kind of religion was me. And it was this site pretty much that did kind of open me up to where I was reading these things, and yeah, they were kind of different than what I already currently knew about Jesus and stuff like that. But at the same time, I was like, this makes a lot of sense. This is pretty hard to like dismiss. It totally makes sense. So it's these types of things that kind of open me up in a way to kind of, become, I guess, more spiritual or more whatever. I just kind of was open to more things, more religions and things like that.
And the reasoning behind it, I guess, is because when something rings true to you, it rings true, and you're just like, okay. I mean, I remember my grandmother that was very Christian. The other grandmother was Catholic. I mean, I was so terrified to do things as a kid because I was always told God is going to punish you. And it's crazy because you fall into that culture obsession with religion that your grandparents or your parents, grow up by. And it's, you know what? If you want to follow religion and that's your way, then I respect all of that. I'm not judging any of that. But I realized that I felt like I was a prisoner of their beliefs. And after I found out more things, near-death experiences, I loved reading about them. Mm-hmm. It was just so eye-opening for me that I don't think I could ever practice religion again.
Sure. And another thing to note then with near-death experiences, so once this NDE type thing happens and they're in this state, obviously everybody there, it's like eternal bliss. They all just love where they are. Mm-hmm. And most of them in a way don't want to come back. But what happens is, they're all just, they're like, why would I ever want to go back? But then they realize, I need to, maybe help people. Or there's certain things I want to work on. So they understand that it's fun and all to be where they currently are in that state. They know that in order to grow or to help others or that type of thing, that they can come back and they can share things with people, show things to people, pretty much share love.
And it's like they've been given a second chance and more so to, I guess, relate a message to others, which is amazing.
So then most of them, I mean, pretty much they all choose to come back and they say, this is what I want to do. And then most of them, when they come back, they are much more loving and they're not attached to the physical form as much as they were. They all have, I guess, what you'd say like a very spiritual view or a very they're very connected to something more, something
they're
greater.
And they're kind of detached from religion. Yeah. Because they see everything in the point of view of the spirituality. And how we're all connected and nothing really holds you down except for yourself and for others that try to hold you down. And like I said, I mean, we both come from different backgrounds of religion, and we both felt the same way about how they wanted us to do this because God is gonna punish you. You gotta follow Jesus' ways. And as I said before, I respect Jesus tremendously for the message that he came to give. And I'm a big believer in Jesus. He's one of my
heroes.
You could say that. I mean, it's like, I love Jesus. I'm not wearing my shirt today, but I usually wear my I Love Jesus shirt. Just kidding. But go ahead, Quinn. Continue. Well, you've done more research on near-death experiences than I have. I mean, I love to read the books. And again, going back to Anita Moorjani, I highly recommend that book. I've recommended it to many people. Everybody loves it. It's just so amazing because the point to that book is love. So,
exactly. And that's the point of all my research, too.
It doesn't matter. A lot of times people say, oh, well, I have to love this or I can't love this. Or you fall in love with someone and your parents or other people don't want you to be together with that person. They don't see the spiritual aspect of love happening that way. And they think that because you don't meet their standards, let's say per se your parents' standards, the person doesn't meet their standards, they think, oh, those, you shouldn't be with that person. But it's not about them. It's about the connection spiritually that you share with someone. And I think in Anita Moorjani's book, you will find that she kind of explains that. And it's about you making your own decisions on your own journey. And I really bless Anita Moorjani for having that near-death experience. And the fact that she was dying completely with this cancerous, she went through the cancer aspect of life, and she completely was like already dead. And her body came back to life, and and it comes to show that it's all really about you healing yourself, and it's possible to heal your physical form. And and I think it's amazing how powerful we are as beings.
And that is kind of the overall message, is it's just showing us that we need to, we need to be ourselves.
Love ourselves, love everyone, use different things and always come back to love. I mean, it might be different for everyone, and everybody might be thinking, oh, how can I love? But, a little thought of love goes a long way, and I've always thought like that. And, hopefully it will help someone out there. So are we signing off on this one?
I think so. I think we pretty much covered it. So.
And don't forget to visit peacebeblessed.com. That's my website. If you guys want any more information or feel like you have a question for me of any kind, go into my website, and I do give daily inspirations, and we'll see you there.
And please comment, rate, and subscribe. Truth Control is our YouTube channel, and our website, truthcontrol.com. So
Sending love to all of you, and I hope you all like this message that we're sending out to you guys. We'll see you. We'll be doing a weekly topic, and it's been our pleasure that you're having us in your computer right now, taking a look at what we've got to say.
See you real soon.
Okay.